Alright, so on number 1, we're looking at this division problem, and you might want to have a piece of scratch sheet handy. You'll see I've got one right here out to the side so I can use it in just a moment, because these numbers might get a little big. Alright, so I'm going to start by setting this up. I'm going to put 29 at the door, because it's the second one that gets shut out, and I'm going to put 1,769 in the house. Alright. Alright, when I start looking at this problem, I'm starting with the first number, and I'm asking myself, can 29 go into 1? Since 29 cannot go into 1, I'm going to put a 0, and then I'm going to move to the next number. So now I'm asking myself, can 29 go into 17? 29 cannot go into 17, so I'm going to put a 0 there as well. Now it says, can 29 go into 176? This is where this problem gets confusing, or let me rephrase that. This problem gets kind of hard because those are big numbers. That is why I have my piece of scratch paper right here. So I'm going to come over here on my scratch paper, trying to see what y'all can see on the screen, okay? And I'm going to start with some multiplication facts. So I'm going to try 29 times 5 might be a good number to start with because it's kind of in the middle of everything. So I'm going to do 29 times 5, plus it's easy to multiply by. Alright, 5 times 9 is 45, so I'm going to put my 5, carry my 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 4 gives me 14. So I get 145, which is smaller than 176, but I need to see, can I get closer? So I tried 5, I'm going to try another number, I'm just going to go one up, I'm going to try 6. So 29 times 6. 6 times 9, be careful, that is 54. Write my 4, carry my 5. 6 times 2 is 12, plus the 5 is 17. So I got 174. That's a lot closer, isn't it? It's still smaller, but it's a lot closer, so I think 6 is a good number to try up here on top. So on top of the 176, I'm putting the 6 that I'm going to use. And now I'm ready to multiply. 6 times 29, I already multiplied it over here, so I'm going to go ahead and write 174. And we're going to subtract that. 6 minus 4 is 2. 7 minus 7 goes away. 1 minus 1 goes away. All right, always make sure this number is small. Is 2 smaller than 29? Yep. So we can bring down the next one. All right. So this one's kind of easy, but this can be confusing. I need to see how many times 29 will go into 29. Sounds weird when I say it out loud. 29 will go into 29 one time because they're the same number. All right, and then I get 1 times 29 is 29, and when I subtract that, do I have anything left over? No, there's nothing left over. So my answer here is 61. All right, please notice that I did not circle those zeros as my answer. It's just the 61. All right. Now we're ready to do number 2. All right, again, I'm going to put 43 at the door, 3,052 in the house. These numbers are big, so I'm going to keep that piece of scratch paper over here because I'm probably going to need it. Okay. Starting at the very beginning, how many times can 43 go into 3? It won't happen, so I'm going to put 0. 43 will go into 3 0 times. Can't do it. How many times can 43 go into 30? It's too big. It won't fit, so I'm going to put a 0 there as well. So now I have how many times can 43 go into 305? Those are big numbers. That kind of makes math scary sometimes. So in order to make that a little bit simpler, I'm going to come over here to the side. All right, again, if I want to start with 5, that's a good place. It tells me if I'm going to go higher or lower, and multiplying by 5 is easy. So 43 times 5. 5 times 3 is 15. I'm going to carry my 1. 5 times 4 is 20, plus the 1 is 21. So I get 215, and I have 305 here. It's smaller, but do you think I can get closer? Probably so. They're still pretty far apart. Y'all see that? So after trying 5, now I'm going to try to multiply by 6. So 43 times 6. 6 times 3 is 18. I'm going to write down my 8, carry my 1. 6 times 4 is 24. Double check my math, guys. 6 times 4 is 24, plus the 1 is 25. So I get 258. Am I getting closer to that 305? I could probably get closer, though, so I'm going to try again. 43 times 7. 7 times 3 is 21. Carry the 2. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus the 2 gives me 30. So I get 301. That's really close to 305. So that's probably a good place number to use. If this went over, then I have to go back down. All right, I'm going to use 7 because I know 7 times 43, I've worked it out here, is 301. 5 minus 1 is 4. Zeros go away. 3's go away. Is 4 small? No, smaller than 43, so we're good. Bring down your 2. 43. How many times will 43 go into 42? Julia? 0. Guys, I have to put that 0 on top. Does 2 have a number on top of it? So you have to put that 0 on top. I've had a lot of people miss that today. So make sure you have your 0 there. Now 0 times 43 is 0. And when I subtract, I get 42 still. Okay? 42 is smaller than 43. All right, so I'm going to write that as a fraction, put my remainder on top, put my 43 on the bottom. Guys, that fraction will not simplify, so my answer is 70 and 42 over 43. All right, I want you to set up number 3. All right, so going back to our video, looking at number 3. Make sure I have enough room over here. There we go. All right, so I have 230, RJ, times 44. All right, so I have 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12. Make sure we carry that 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 1 is 9. All right, marking out that 1 that I carried. All right, I'm done with that first 4. Remember, I need to put a 0 as a placeholder and put a little smiley face there. So I know that is my placeholder, not an actual 0. All right, so now we're going to do 4 times 0, which is 0. 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. So I'm going to write my 2, carry my 1 again. 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 1 is 9. These numbers should match since they were the same number that we were multiplying. 0 and 0. 2 and 0 is 2. 9 and 2 is 11. Carry the 1. And then 1 and 9 is 10. So I got 10,120. If you've already done number 3, make sure you go back and check it. Okay? All right, number 4 is another multiplication problem. This one gets a little bit easier. There it is. So it's just a 1 digit. So we have 4,584 times 8. Okay? So multiplying 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is going to give me 32. Thank you, Julia, because my mind was going blank. Happens even to your math teacher, I promise, okay? 8 times 8 is going to give me 64, right? Okay, plus the 3 is 67. I'm like looking at y'all to make sure I'm doing my math right, okay? All right, 8 times 5 gives me 40, plus the 6, 46, carry my 4, and then 8 times 4 is 32 again, plus the 4 is 36. So I should get 36,672. All right. Number 5. For number 5, I have 1,769 plus 29. And again, you can see, guys, when I'm working these, I'm spacing my numbers out so that if I need to carry anything or mark out anything, I have room. All right. So I have 9 plus 9. 9 plus 9 is going to give me 18. Carry the 1. And then we have 6 plus 2 is 8, plus the 1 is 9. Alright, and then I have my 7, and then I have the 1. So we're bringing that down. So I get 1,798. Make sure the biggest thing here is just some people have lost that little 1 that they carried. Alright, so now I have 3,052 minus 79. Alright, for subtraction, I've had a lot of people that have trouble with this because we do have to borrow. And when I borrow, I've got to keep track of each of my numbers. So here I cannot do 2 minus 9, so I'm going to borrow from 5. I'm borrowing from the 5. I'm taking 1 away, which makes it 4. The 1 that I took, I put in front of the 2, so now it is 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. Alright, that's just one number in order to subtract the one number. So now I need to do 4 minus 7. I can't do 4 minus 7, so I try to borrow. But I cannot borrow from 0. So I'm going to have to go to the 3. When I borrow from 3, take 1 away, it becomes 2. But the 1 I took can only go next door. So now that's a 10. Now can 4 borrow from 10? Yeah, so I'm going to take 1 away, it becomes 9. The 1 I took goes in front of the 4, making it 14. So I have 14 minus 7, please stop humming, is 7. And then 9, we're not taking anything away, and 2, we're not taking anything away. So I get 2,973. All right, was that all where y'all could see it? Good. Okay. All right, we have 3 more left. These are our word problems. If it has words, we need to answer with a sentence. So for number 1, Sally decided to sell all of her old books. She gathered up 47 books to sell, and she sold 17 in the yard sale. We want to know how many she has. So if she has 47 and we're selling 17, what operation is that going to be? Raise your hand, please, Braden. Subtraction. We're taking them away. So 47 minus 17. 7 minus 7 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. So I have 30. So it wants to know how many books does Sandy have now. I'm going to say Sandy has 30 books. Alright, I can't just say 30 books. I need to answer with an actual sentence. Alright, so Sandy has 30 books. Alright, number 9. Miss Donahue has 405 boxes of tissue. We want to know how many boxes each student brought in if she has 29 students. So I need to see how many times 29 will go into 105, so I know how many each brought. It is going to be division. So 105. All right, 29 divided into 105. This might be another one. The numbers are big where I have to do some multiplication to the side. All right, can 29 go into 1? No, so I'm going to put a 0. How many times will 29 go into 10? 0. It won't go. Now I've got to decide how many times 29 will go into 105. All right, I told you I like to use the number 5 to start, so I'm just going to go over to the side. Some of you have already worked this out and figured it out. 5 times 9 is 45. Carry my 4. 5 times 2 is 10 plus the 4 is 145. Is that going to work? That one's way too big, so I'm going to have to go with a smaller number. All right? 3. Okay, so someone's telling me to try 3 times 3. So 9 times 3 is 27. Carry my 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2, 7, 8. So I get 87. That's a lot closer to 105. 4. All right, so we're going to do 29 times 4. 9 times 4 is 36. Carry my 3. 4 times 2 is 8. 9, 10, 11. So I got 116. Is 4 going to work? No, so we have to use the 3. Do y'all see how keeping this here, did I have to like rethink about it or rework it out? No, it's there. I can just use it. So I'm going to put a 3 here. And 3 times 29 was 87. 5 minus 7, can I do that? No. So I'm going to borrow. I can't borrow from 0. I'm going to borrow from 1. That makes it. So now that's a 10. When I borrow from 10, it becomes 9. And now that's 15 minus 7, which is 8. And 9 minus 8 is 1. 9 minus 8 is 1. All right, so I have 18. 18 is my remainder, so if I wanted to, I could put 18 over 29. Now here's my question, guys. When I read the question, it says, how many boxes did the students bring in? If I have 3 and 18/29, is a student going to bring in an 18/29 of a box? No. What that means is the students brought in 3. Why would I have more? Did every student bring in 3? Some students brought in 4. All right, maybe they got like the 4-pack. Like if you go to Walmart, you can get a package that has 4 boxes of tissues in it. Maybe some of them brought those in. All right, so I'm going to say each student brought in at least 3 boxes of tissues. And I did include of tissues because we don't want to think they're like bringing in boxes of cookies or something. I'd be totally okay with that, just saying. All right, but we do want to make sure we're bringing in 3 boxes of tissues. All right. The reason I put at least 3 boxes, if you just put the students brought in 3 boxes, I would take that on a test, absolutely. But I do want to explain why I put that. Every student brought in 3, but because I have extras, that means some students brought in more than 3. So that's why I said they brought in at least 3, but that also implies some brought more. Are you okay with that? If you just put each student brought in 3 boxes, I would take that. If you tell me each student brings in 3 boxes and 18/29, is that going to work? No, you're not going to bring in 18/29 of a box. That doesn't logically make sense. So I want to make sure that we're actually thinking about what we're writing down, okay? All right, number 10. I think this one was a little tricky because it has this time on here. So it says Sally earns $12 an hour cleaning houses, but she doesn't work Saturday or Sunday. Got to keep her weekends free. And she works from 8 to 2. We want to know how much money she's going to make in a week. So from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I need to know how many hours that is that she's working. All right? So the way that I counted that is I said, okay, 8 o'clock, so I'm going to count 9 o'clock, 10, 11, 12. But then I start all over with 1 and then 2. So that gives me 6 hours. Y'all agree? So from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. is 6 hours. Now, if she works every day but Saturday and Sunday, how many days is she going to work those 6 hours? 5. So I'm going to multiply my 6 times 5 days. I'm just writing this down so you know where I'm getting them. 6 times 5 is 30. So now I know she works 30 hours in a week, and if she makes $12 every single hour, what do I need to do with those? Multiply again. So I'm going to do 12 times 30. Well, 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. Kind of a silly line. Put your placeholder and put a little smiley face. There's my placeholder. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. When I add that up, I get 360. So what would be a good sentence here? Raise your hand if you can give me a good sentence. Jakaria, can you give me a good sentence for this? Huh?
She made $36.
She will make $360 in a week. All right?